never wanted it to end. And in movies, I would have to say that the first one that comes to mind is Dennis Menace. I don't know if you guys ever saw it, but it was about this mischievous boy, and anyway, was really